It's time for the Gettin Outdoors podcast, Town Country United Bank Lake Millers Ferry Weekend Hunting and Fishing Report. A weekly update on water conditions, ramp events, generating schedule, what's biting, and seasonal hunting information with outdoor reporters Joe Allen Dunn, Kevin Sims, and Shane Jones. This weekly hunting and fishing report is brought to you by the good folks at Town Country United Bank in Camden, Alabama, serving their customers for over 40 years. Town Country United Bank's highest priority is satisfied customers. Now, here's your weekend Lake Millers Ferry hunting and fishing report.
All right, Big Daddy, here we go.
There he is. Team Bigfoot, baby. Another one on the B&B Silver Shade. Team Bigfoot in the house.
Shane Jones crappie fishing.
Got it.
First one, 2023, smackdown.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Gettin Outdoors podcast 212 Town Country United Bank Hunting and Fishing Report for the weekend of April the 7th through April the 8th. Easter weekend 2023, and I just got through talking with J.U. Banks on the second of two podcasts. We talked about our water snakes, common water snakes in Alabama, and how to identify our venomous snakes. And I always love to have J.U. Banks on the show every year about this time because it is snake crawling time. Got my outdoor reporters Joe Allen Dunn and Shane Jones. Kevin is in Livingston, Alabama. They bucking out some broncs this afternoon, and Brody's doing a little practice. Good afternoon, guys. We got a lot to talk about today.
Good evening.
Good evening.
All right, let's start off with the got just a few things to talk about. Let's talk about the road closure right quick. You still, and I see Todd Prater's on here. He had an article in our local paper today about talking to the state guy, and they said it's probably going to be 2 weeks before they do it, but just give everybody a heads up. I know we're going to have, Shane, we're going to have the open house at CT Ward Power Sports on April the 29th, so that will probably be, the road will probably be closed then, so you'll have to come all the way around 221 to get to CT Ward Power Sports, but we'll talk a whole lot more about that when they close that road down. Got some bad news for everybody if you hadn't already seen it. I went down to check the cameras at the log cam yesterday, and that 6 inches of rain last week washed it on down the creek. And it is history. I put those cameras on that log in November of 2018, and it has been a lot of critters cross that log in the last 5 years, and I'll sure miss checking it, but it's gone. We'll find somewhere else to put it up. Also, most of you saw that video I put up the other day. 90% of you said it was a house cat. I don't know. It looked like a bobcat. Looked like it had some bobcat blood to me, didn't it, you, Shane?
Yeah, it looked like a long-tailed bobcat to me.
That's what it looked like to me too. But most everybody said they thought it was a house cat. So
That's a big one if it was. Whew.
I don't know. Yeah. Todd, I spent a lot of time too. I'm gonna miss it. We'll find another place to put it though. Joe Allen, you got a camera up on a wren's nest, ain't you?
Yeah, I'm fixed to get it up. I put the one up and it didn't take any videos. I shot a video with my phone because them some hard working little old birds. The male and the females in and out all day long, right till dark, feeding them babies. But they little babies is growing fast. They got 4 of them in there, and those are already getting feathered up. It ain't gonna be long. They gonna leave the nest and they'll start over.
Yeah, and they will start back over. And I tell you, I saw some Fathonotary warblers last Sunday when we was on the river. So they are here. Those are those little yellow birds you see on the river bank, and also I had some goldfinches. I did a live video this morning of some goldfinches at my feeder. So, and I think I saw an indigo bunting the other day. I'm not sure if that's what it was, but they'll be here before long. So if you hadn't got your bird feeders up, you need to get them up. Your hummingbirds are here. Hadn't you got some hummingbirds, Joe Allen?
Yeah, I got one hummingbird, and they eat me out of house and home on the bird feeder now. Good or not.
They'll sure do it. They'll sure do it. I guarantee you. All right, I got word today that the Bridgeport Beach and I guess the Millers Ferry Beach will open up this Friday. Now we do have 2 very nice beaches on Lake Millers Ferry. They just don't get used like they ought to get. But Ryan Gunn's tuned in. He just got his Fishmaster custom jigs in a bait shop down there in Ollie, Alabama. Today. So congratulations, Ryan. Joe Allen, you need to get some of them jigs. Oh, Mark Bowler tying up some crappie with them Fishmaster jigs. All right, Millers Ferry and Jones Bluff running their powerhouse around the clock, 3 units around the clock. I'm sure they got some floodgates open. We got some more rain coming this weekend. The temperature in the river Sunday was 65 to 67 in the river, 68. I saw some 70-degree water in the sloughs. Is that about what y'all saw?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
All right. Before we get started with the Town Country United Bank Hunting and Fishing Report, what we got on Crappie Cast tomorrow night, Thursday night, 7 o'clock. You look at that good-looking hat over there.
Yeah, y'all see that hat right there? I picked up 2 dozen of them. They're about gone. I got some blue ones left, and these green ones are gone, but I'll have to order. They got some bottom lamb ones I found, so I'm gonna order those. But we're going to have John and Jessica, myself, and Shiloh Chappelle. He's another fisherman that fishes the Crappie Masters. He relocated from Illinois to he lives up there at Gunnersville, and he's a great fisherman. He's going to be on there, and we're going to answer some questions and talk some crappie. So
yeah,
we'll be ready.
Well, and they fishing a Crappie Masters tournament down there?
Crappie Masters at Jordan on Saturday. Sure.
Okay.
They're down there pre-fishing for it, getting ready for that tournament Saturday.
All right, good deal. Let's talk first about the catfish, Joe Allen. Your buddy Bud, and I don't see him on here today, but him and Kyle's brother-in-law, they put some limb lines out down there in Cleveland last week, and they tore up some yellows and some blues. They had some fine catfish. And Chad Weiss, he caught a 59-pound blue cat over there on the Tom Bigby, and old Possum Jones and Big Flint put some limb lines out, went and checked them this morning after they went turkey hunting, had some fine ones. And this weekend, Alabama Catfish Series will have their tournament out of the Selma City Marina. If you want to fish a good catfish tournament, you will. That will be a good one. Now, this water is falling now, ain't it, Joe Allen? So those limb lines are out of play. Am I correct about that?
It just depends on where you're at on the river. They definitely are better with that rising water when it's up higher. After it falls out, it won't be quite as good, but they still right in there in them flats somewhere. They're spawning like everything else, so they're gonna follow the shad in. And actually, let's see, that was Saturday. There was a shad spawn, a big shad spawn up in G's Bend. Because we went up there, I told Donna, I said, look at the white birds. They was everywhere lining the bank. So when that happens, all your fish are in there following them. And they gorging on them wherever they at. But that shad spawn is a good sign that all the catfish are going to still be in the flats the best right now, especially with high water coming down. So I would jug inside, still stay inside, even if you can't put a limb line on, put your shallow jugs out up in the flats.
Yeah, and what about bait? Can you get some bait now?
Well, yeah, I mean, you go in those places where they're having shad spawn, or even just use your depth finder or whatever, or either just go to the shallow backs of them and look for that tail flickering on top of the water, and throw your cast net there, and you get a lot of bait in places like that.
Well, I tell you what, it's the water conditions right now are just good for catfishing, no matter what you're doing.
Yep.
And it ain't gonna be long. That river's gonna warm up, and them long line jugs are gonna be in play if they ain't already.
Well, yeah, it ain't quite time to transition yet. We're still going through the spawn, and even the post spawn with all the stuff, they'll still be real close right there. That's when that water's going to have to get a little bit hotter, and they're going to slow down that current. Then they'll go to moving later on. We talk about, May and June when that's going to happen. But right now, everything's going to be shallow. That's what you need to do.
And talking about June the 17th will be the next jugging contest, and I'm kind of worried we might be done lost one of the juggers last week. I think he might make a transition from jugging crappie fishing, but
you got to tell that story now.
Yeah, we will when we get to the crappie. All right, if you're coming catfishing, Joe Allen, this weekend, what would you do? Jug, tight line, limb line?
I would jug, and then I really like this time of year too, going into where we're going, the stage we're at is that's when I get out in front of my house and sit on a bucket and throw a tight line in the river. That's getting good right now too. And you can catch some big ones too running that river bank, either going in or coming out. So, that's going to be into play too, along with the jugs.
June the 17th, Joshua, that's when the next jugging contest is. And Travis Hudson said he caught some catfish on his crappie pole yesterday, shallow. That's what they're doing. They're going up in them nests right now. That's what they're doing.
Yep.
May and June is when them grabbers get in the water and grab them with them hands up in them holes. So that's what they're doing right now. All right, let's go to the crappie fishing. And I tell you what, I had some good reports this week of crappie fishing, and I wanted to share this with you. This right here is my sweet little old Beth Ann, Gerald Overstreet's daughter. She caught a 276. That's a pig right there, son. That's a pig. They were here for what is it? Summer break, AEA.
Spring break. They was on spring break last week.
Yeah, and also and Taylor Ward said that Jessica, he swears that's a 3-pound crappie. I don't know about that, but that's a good one. I do know that. But Jessica caught that one. I think, Shane, you talked him into going. He wasn't going.
Yeah, he did. He called. He messaged me. I say, you get your butt out there. It was right. The sloughs are right. The river was a mess, but Saturday, but the sloughs are right.
But now this right here is what I'm talking about. I was up in a slough, enjoyed myself, had 13 slabs in the live well, and here come these three right here all up in there. And of course, Travis got out of the boat with Joe Allen and got in the boat with me. And I tell you what, I might have run him where you had that live scope dialed in, Shane. He got up there and he could see his jig. He caught 3 and he watched the fish catch him every time. I think he done got hooked.
Yeah, he done got messed up now.
But that net that full of fish that he's holding up, those are the ones me and him caught. And then you and Scott, y'all caught 12, didn't you, Joe Allen?
That's right.
And we had a good mess of fish. I mean, a fine mess of fish. And team D Hooker, they might turn into crappie fishermen instead of catfish.
He had a cooler full of catfish the Saturday too, so he had crappie and catfish to clean.
He did. He had him a good time. All right, Shane, you fished Millers Ferry Saturday, and you went to Demopolis Sunday. Give us a report.
Millers Ferry the water was still high. The fish were still a little scattered, and we I'm trying to see how many we caught. We caught 15 or 16. Like I said, we covered a lot of water. We dealt with that storm first thing Saturday morning. And then Sunday, when we went to Demopolis, it got, the water in Demopolis was great. It had been because they didn't get near the rain on that side of the state as, the east side did. So, and then talking to y'all, the river got more, Millers Ferry got right too. But I found some fish. I went to Demopolis and covered all the water that I usually fish. And I found some fish on some stumps, on some secondary cover. Those fish are pulled out and hit that secondary cover. A majority of them. I'm not saying some of them still ain't trying to spawn, but most of those fish are pulled out to the next cover off the bank, which is your stumps, your stake beds, your big tops, still holding some fish. And there would be 2 or 3 fish on these stumps. Not a lot, but I mean, there's enough to catch you a mess. And so the secondary cover is coming into play right now. We kept 32, I think, Sunday we kept 32, and I didn't find those fish till the last hour and a half, 2 hours of trip, so I was like, here they are. I should have went there first, but my gut was telling me to go there, but I had to check everything else. So.
Well, y'all go ahead, Joel.
That's what I did Sunday after we talked Saturday. Me and Shane was talking Saturday night too, and our water fell out, and they pulled out Sunday. And I was trying to use the long pole on them, and some of them would hit, and I could see them swirl.
That's what you're
telling me. We had talked Saturday about they were spooking. You couldn't get within 20 yards of them Saturday. Right. Sunday, I backed off and started making a long cast of those stumps then.
Mm-hmm. That's what we were doing.
I done real good Sunday morning doing that.
That's right. They're bunched up on those stumps. Like I said, there's not a lot of fish on them, but next thing you cover some water, next thing you know, you got you a mess of fish. I mean, even if you don't have a live scope, you can just the stumps. If you can physically see a stump or a piece of rebar driven in there, you need to be throwing, especially in 5, 6, 7, 8 foot of water. You need to be throwing that jig towards you.
Well, now Joe Allen didn't have no live scope Sunday, but he knows where all the holes are anyhow. Though.
Right. Well, like he said, he told me he seen those fish swirling, spooking. He knew they were crappie, and he was like, "Heck, I'm gonna get back and throw at them." And he said he lost 2 big ones, and they're still hanging out right there. Mm.
And Joe Allen, I got me I went to the parts house the other day because I had the same problem with my seat. We got to grease your seat up. Me and Travis was a half a mile away from it. We could hear that old seat squeaking.
Well, Scott greased it for me. We was sitting there, and he said, "I'm tired of this." He reached over and grabbed my bottle of spray, but we mixed up what Shane said how to mix that vanilla flavoring. He said, "I'm gonna spray some of that vanilla flavoring on it." See, he sprayed it and it quit squeaking in.
Yeah, I've had to do that before, Joe. You're like, man, I gotta have something. Those things will get to squealing like you're calling up a turkey for sure.
Yeah. All right, now Shane, you also had a pretty good day down south. You went to a private pond down there.
That private pond. Hey, let me tell y'all something. If you ever get invited to a private lake that managed for trophy bass, and they fertilize it, and the crappie have dumped in there from a flood or whatever, and they want them out, you better get a chance to go. John turned me loose. He had caught some the day before. I don't know how many fish I caught, but I think I brought back 105, and we caught them in like 4 hours. It was unbelievable. But he wants some big crappie out of there and all those crappie out of there because he's fertilizer, and it's I see that comment, started laughing. But anytime you get a chance to fish a private lake, and you're helping the lake tremendously by taking fish out. So that's what we did.
Well, I tell you what, you took some out. Ain't no doubt about that.
Yeah, that was fun.
And I also got some great pictures. I don't know anything about Lake Mitchell, but old Wayne Edgeworth and Buddy, they tore up at Lake Mitchell. And
It's pretty.
they were long line trolling, Shane.
That's right. You can go up in like Motley Creek and Hatchet Creek, and they do a lot of trolling up there in those flats. And those fish are pulling out too. They're getting on the secondary cover. But yeah, now's the time to get crappie fishing. People don't realize in the spring when you get lucky and find out where they're nesting, they may just be there a day or two and they're gone. You don't consistently catch them. So now in the secondary cover, what I call secondary cover is 5, 6, 8 foot of water. Those fish are starting to bunch up, and that's when you can really catch a lot of fish. So May is great, June's great. To me, April's really good. Towards the end of April, that's what you're dealing with. When I got invited down to Millers Ferry when I was younger by an older gentleman. He didn't start fishing till May down there.
Yeah,
never did. So you got a lot of great fishing coming up.
Mitzi Brunner says she needs some crappie. Come on up here and catch some, Mitzi. You and Mark, come on. When turkey season's over, we'll take you out there and catch you some crappie. Hey, Shane, if you're coming this weekend to Millers Ferry or the Mopless, what's the difference in the two? What are you going to do?
The water, I don't know what the water's going to do, but the Mopless seems to be calmed down. We were throwing chartreuse and black jigs in the creeks that were stained, and catching plenty. Fish were being aggressive. They were biting. We didn't miss a lot of fish. Millers Ferry the same way. Sunday, it seemed like both places fished great. Saturday was a rough day.
Yeah.
Because, considering the bass tournament was low and, the weights were not as high as they have been. But, yeah, I would just get me a chartreuse and a black jig and a chartreuse and white jig or some minnows, and I'd hit as many stumps, as many secondary cover that I could hit. You'll catch you some fish.
You got to cover some water, though. You're not going to sit at one place. And I saw a lot of people Saturday sitting in one place for a long time, and that was a mistake.
That's what people that don't have a live scope, they don't realize, like, there's 2 or 3 fish on those stumps, and you might catch one of them. You give you a couple minutes and you get you a couple pitches in there, you don't get a bite, you move on. Those fish aren't moving in and out. That's where they're hanging out right now. They're eating shad. They got a little lull, I call it, just like the rut. Those crappie don't feed right after that spawn. They're kind of in a bad mood, and now they're fixing to crank up and start eating. Mm-hmm. And that's what you want.
Yeah. And I don't know what the weather's going to be, but before we get off the crappie, you took some clients out there to Saturday, and a hailstorm came up.
I'll tell y'all.
Hey, I was joking about that umbrella, about you getting on that, but ain't you glad you had it? That
umbrella, it's a sport umbrella, 9 foot. Let me tell you, we were looking, and we seen some lightning way off, and when you're in those creeks with a lot of stumps in it, you just can't blow out of there and go somewhere. So I seen it. I thought, well, it's going to go around us. And the fella, Lane, was like, hey, you can't see the other end of the slough. And it was just a couple 100 yards, and it was raining. And, man, I threw that umbrella up in a hurry and got it tied up. And we didn't get wet except a little bit on our legs, and that wind was blowing in there. And we just laid our rods down and hunkered down and kept, stayed in there. We got under the trees. So, but it was worth it. Hey, that is a sport umbrella, a 9 footer. That thing's worth its weight in gold.
It paid for itself, didn't it, Shane?
Yes, and believe it or not, it had a Millennium umbrella, and it's not near as tough as that sport umbrella. It took some wind.
Yeah. All right, crappie fishing's gonna be good. Y'all come on, minnows, jigs, whatever you throw at them, you got to find them. You got to cover some water. And bass fishing last weekend, Maddie had her Bridgeport team trail, and you said it. It was a bad day Saturday for the bass fishermen and the crappie fishermen.
It was slow.
Trey and Corey Smith won it with a 13.35 bag, and that was just, that wasn't what them 18, 20-pound bags have been being. They had a battle on the Bigby, that $1,000 entry fee tournament over in Demopolis. Kyle Patterson and Kyle Shaw won it. They had 18-17 in Demopolis. The first day, 1803. The second day for 36.20 and won $9,000. Mitchell Hall and Ray Mitchell had a 2-day total of 32.68 with a They won $5,500, and Roger Etheridge and Nelson Sturdivant had a 2-day total of 32.38. They won $2,000. The only thing I got on my calendar this weekend is a old man's team trail at Demopolis City Landing this Saturday. That's the only thing I got on my calendar.
Everybody needs to be careful. I don't know what kind of weather we got coming here Saturday. I'm headed to Florida Friday about lunch. I know it's supposed to storm. I don't know what kind of weather we're gonna get, but that stuff gets on you quick on them rivers.
All right, bass fishing this weekend, Joe Allen. What are they doing? What you need to do?
They're gonna be somewhere, like I said, you follow the bait with these shad spawns going on, and that's where you're gonna do the best in the back of those flats. And then the cuts you can be throwing for some spots, but I'd be going shallow hunting those shad spawns, and they're gonna be in there following the bait.
And I tell you what, we have got, it is some bass out there. I think Saturday was just a bad day for everybody. But,
yeah, I don't know what it was. You know, between the water falling and the pressure, you don't never know what the combination is. But when you across the board, when crappie are scattered and bass are slow, you can bet it's just one of those days.
Yeah, it's one of them days, and it's got something to do with that weather, water conditions, or something.
Well, that's what's fun about the river. We always say it teaches you all the time because conditions change. All the high water goes down. It's not persistent. You know, the same conditions. So it makes you a better fisherman, in my opinion.
Wiley Marshall made a big announcement last week. They're not going to be any qualifying tournaments. They're not going to be any 5 teams available if you buy a booth at the expo. It's going to be the first. What is it? 100 that paid the $2,000 going to fish it, right, Shane?
That's right. Yeah, the first 100, $3,000 entry fee, and the lake's off limit till the week before, I think. So they're pretty strict on that. So.
I love what Brian said, Joe Allen. He said he's glad we traded Shane for Kevin. He know way more and tells the truth. Well, we didn't trade him. Kevin's still on the team. He's still one of the reporters. He just bucking out some broncs this afternoon.
Hey, like I said, I think Sunday. I was just looking at the weather. Sunday looks like it's going to be a lot better day down there. You know,
look what Todd just put up: 90% chance of thunderstorms in Camden Saturday.
Yeah, Sunday's not going to rain at all. So you might want to get your honeydews done Saturday.
Yeah,
do whatever you need to do around the house and ease out there Sunday morning, because Sunday morning down there is 17%, and that's not bad.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not going. They're not calling for. It says showers with perhaps a rumble of thunderstorm develop in the afternoon. This is Saturday. Steady rain. It's not giving a. Hopefully you don't get an inch or two. It just moves on through.
Well, I can tell you something that is hot right now, and that's this pond fishing. Old Jared Hudson, he tore up some brim the other day in a farm pond. And did you see that video that Bucky Barrett sent me of his little granddaughter catching her first fish? I think her name was Marie. I love those videos. Bibb County Lake is open. They catching some big old bass. I hadn't seen any crappie or brim. They catching some big old bass. And I got to find out about Monroe County Lake. I don't know if it's changed managers or what's going on down there. I know they changed the Facebook page, so I really don't know what's going on. But usually this time of the year at Monroe County Lake, they catching them big 2-pound shell crackers down there. So I hadn't heard any more than that, but I know the farm ponds are wide open. Joe Allen, you selling a lot of crickets at Dunn Sports?
Yeah, now crickets is blowing and going right now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we have to we got 2 different suppliers because we're going through so many right now.
Big Daddy, you caught some big shell crackers Sunday, didn't you?
Yeah, I caught two crappie fishing. I caught 2 nice ones. I should have take a picture of that. Okay, Ryan said the Eichner's are still at Beatrice Public Lake. Good. I'm glad to hear that. Yeah. So if I had me 50 of them shell cracker like I caught this weekend, Shane, we'd have some.
We're gonna have a little. We'll have a brim report here before long this month when that full moon hit. Then you gonna go Go check that bed I found about a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, I do. I love to catch them brim, and they fun to catch on them jigs too.
Oh yeah, if you can find them, I
yeah.
used to throw a little beetle spin for them. They're fun.
Yeah. All right, turkeys, Joe Allen. I ain't never had as many turkeys come to me. First turkeys, freak turkeys, long toenail turkeys, 6-bid turkeys, hens that are gobbling and strutting. You just gotta go. You just gotta go and look at my Facebook page at all the different turkeys varieties that are being killed. I don't believe there's no shortage of turkeys out there.
I don't believe so either. People are. I know people that's limited out already.
Yeah.
Yeah, even Todd killed a good turkey.
Yeah,
Ryan Gunn said he went to Beatrice, Beatrice Lake today and caught a limit of bass off the bank. Were you using them Fishmaster jigs, Ryan? But yeah, turkeys, Joe Allen. Didn't you do some turkey hunting this week?
We did some last week. We had other stuff we had to do this week, but yeah, it was gobbling. He still had some hens with him. Shannon and Todd and some other hunters had a real good weekend, killed some good turkeys, but they still going at it. And I talked to Aaron Wells and his group down at their hunt club, and they heard a bunch of turkeys during that good weather. I don't know. I don't think he's going this weekend, but the turkeys still wide open.
All right, Joe Allen. Done sports. You've been working this week for a change. What you need to get rid of over there?
We got a lot of old time turkey camo. So come on by and tell Bubba said, tell Bubba I said give you a 30% discount on some of that old time camo.
Hey, good luck with that. What about fishing stuff? Now you got all the jigs lined up and all your crappie gear and them habitual rigs and everything on them skipjack. They still running, I think.
Yeah, they's coming about time. We got a bunch of Zabiki rigs, but I got that order of Reuben Flores jigs in. Got some good colors in those, and I got a bunch of B&B jig coming in some good colors and all, and those are two of the best jigs that I've ever used. Those hair jigs like those, they catch fish, and you got to figure out what color pattern you need to get, but those are the fish catching crappie jigs I've ever used.
They do really well.
I can vouch for the B&B and the Reuben Floyd. That's what I got. I got 4 rods. I got a B&B weedless jig tied on one, a Reuben Floyd, a Fishmaster, one of Ryan Gunn's tied on, and one of Jason Domain's, one of those Delta jigs on that. I like that little 32nd ounce squirrel tail that Jason makes. Shane, you got any of them?
I do. I got a whole box full of them. Hopefully, I'm gonna sling some at them crappie this weekend in Florida. Hopefully, I can find them things.
Hey, Travis wants you to tell the folks about the jigs he found in your box, Joel.
You can't listen to that fool. Cut him off. Just cut the phone. You don't listen to him.
I seen him digging through it. He goes, I said, "What you doing?" He said,
When you have Scott and them, you got fishermen. The first thing they do when they get in the boat, they look around, make sure they got enough natural light in the boat. If they don't, they go back to the bank and load more in the boat.
Well, you see all the chat on social media now about natural light and Budweiser. You think Scott and Travis gonna be wearing a little tutu out in the river now?
Well, if they'll get paid for it and get a sponsor, they'll probably do it.
I swear, boy, that's something.
Leon wants to know if you can just buy the jig head from B&B so you can put plastic on it. I don't think you can, Leon. But let me tell you, what is the name of that weedless jig we use? Big Bite.
Big Bite makes one, and Timmy Tom makes one.
That big bite baits and Timmy Toms. I got plenty of them.
Timmy Tom makes a good weedless jig. I use them a ton.
And now you got a video on your YouTube channel, Shane, that shows everybody how to make a weedless
They
jig.
sure can. If you get on Shane Jones Fishing on YouTube and scroll way on down, about the first video I ever put out. It's not too far down there. It shows you how I use a drill bit and make my own weedless jigs. And that's the way I do them Ruben Flores jigs and some of the Delta jigs too. I make them weedless where I can keep from sticking them in that brush.
All
Like
right.
Ruben Flores jigs, they'll get hooked on a shadow of a stick.
You're
It
right.
ain't
You're
got to
right.
be a
Them hooks
stick,
are
just a
sharp,
shadow.
Lord,
Them things are sharp.
they are.
Travis Hudson said you can order a weedless head from B&B. I didn't know that. You can order a weedless head from B&B. All right, Shane, tomorrow night, 7 o'clock, Thursday night.
I'll send y'all.
One of the fastest growing shows on the internet. What y'all gonna be talking about tomorrow night?
We're gonna just talk about the trip this weekend and see how they're catching their fish at Jordan and see what they're seeing. That way, it kind of gives everybody an idea how these Alabama lakes, where these fish are setting up and answering questions. But I do a lot of I want to remind everybody during the week, y'all can text me, call me, message me. I answer questions all week long. If I can help you, just shout out to me.
I guarantee you, he will answer. He will answer them for sure. I just saw Todd Prater just put up that he just got word there's still a lot of repairs. They're upgrading everything at the Dallas County Public Lake, the building and the grounds. No opening date set yet, but they have got a manager. As soon as they get through with it, boy, we need to be there when they open up for them fish. They hungry. They hungry at Dallas County Lake because they got a lot of fish in that lake, Shane.
Yeah, I like to got in there about February though. Them big crappies when they were schooling. I'd like to got in there.
All right, y'all. Anything else you got, Joe Allen?
Anything
we need to talk about? I think we done covered about everything. Appreciate y'all being here. We miss Kevin. He'll be back next weekend, I'm sure. And we'll be back next weekend. Let you know what's going on. Everybody have a safe and happy Easter. Looks like Saturday's going to be a bad day. Sunday's going to be a better day. But whatever you're doing, hunting, fishing, whatever you're doing, practice safety, safety, safety. Shane, you Alan, stand by. Thanks everybody for tuning in, and we'll see y'all next week.
Pap taught me every critter's track and how to set a hair trigger on a trap. He taught me to shoot, scale, and skin and make a snare with a leather strap. He taught me to be a part of the woods and all his woodsy tricks. Said you gotta walk soft on 2 light feet and try not to break no stick. I thank Daddy for my savvy, how to hunt and how to carry anything that I might need to get a piece of skillet meat. How to walk and how to hide, how to crawl and how to slide, how to sneak, stalk and climb and do it all on 2 light feet.